Most people wait for their lives to improve before they improve their attitude. Yet the world's greatest achievers did the opposite. They transformed their lives by changing their mindset first, not last. A positive mental attitude isn't the reward for success. It's the cause of it. From the very first day you decide to shape your thoughts instead of letting circumstances shape you, the world responds in kind. Doors you thought were sealed begin to open. Obstacles shrink. You notice opportunities where others see only setbacks. This single shift, your attitude changes everything, starting now. This works because your mind is the command center of your destiny. If you meet each day expecting defeat, the world will conspire to prove you right. But if you meet it expecting growth, challenge, and possibility, you create a climate where progress thrives. Your attitude sets the terms for what's possible. Begin by guarding your inner conversation. Speak possibility to yourself. Treat every difficulty as a teacher. Choose to see each morning as a fresh beginning, not a continuation of old failures. Act as if today is day one because it is. Stand at the gate of your mind. You wake up each morning in a world that feels heavy with uncertainty. There is no guarantee of what the day will bring, no promise that things will go the way you hope. But before you even step out of bed, before a single word leaves your mouth, there is a struggle that happens inside you, a battle that no one else can see. This battle isn't with other people or with your circumstances. It's within your own mind. Every day, a silent council gathers at the entrance to your thoughts. Imagine your mind as a gate, and every feeling or idea must wait for permission to enter. Complaints, doubts, and fears will always be the first in line. They are quick to find reasons why you should worry, why things might go wrong, why you should give up before you even try. But you are not powerless. You can be the stern guardian at this gate, allowing only those thoughts that help you rise above your challenges. A positive mental attitude is not about pretending that everything is perfect. It's not just sitting around hoping for the best without any action. It is the armor you build for yourself, piece by piece, to protect against the constant disappointments that life throws your way. When you put on this armor, you are not ignoring reality. You are choosing to face it with strength and determination. So, what does all of this mean for your life? It means that every goal you set, every dream you hold close, and every bit of progress you make depends on the thoughts you let grow in your mind. If you feed your mind with negativity, if you allow doubt, jealousy, anger, or self-pity to take root, they will poison everything you try to build. That poison spreads into your decisions, your relationships, and even the words you speak. Before you know it, your own thoughts have become your biggest enemy. But here's the good news. You have a choice. You can choose to guard your mind fiercely. When you make this choice, you begin to transform your life from the inside out. You move from being a victim of your circumstances to the architect of your own future. Instead of being swept away by problems, you become someone who stands firm, even when life is at its hardest. Why is this so important? Because the world will never stop giving you reasons to feel hopeless or weak. Every day, there will be problems, criticisms, and setbacks. If you don't control your own mind, you will find yourself being pushed around by every little thing that goes wrong. Only those who learn to master their thoughts can remain steady when the storms of life hit. How do you actually begin to do this? Start by refusing to be passive. Don't let your mind wander wherever it wants. When a negative or destructive emotion shows up like anger, jealousy, or fear, don't just accept it as the truth. Challenge it. Ask yourself if this feeling is actually helping you, or if it's just making things harder. Replace every dark thought with something better. Gratitude for what you have, determination to keep going, or a sense of calm that reminds you who you really are. This isn't about lying to yourself or pretending problems don't exist. It's about having the discipline to shape your own mindset instead of letting the world do it for you. Every day, your life starts at the gate of your mind. Stand guard. Make sure only the thoughts that make you stronger get through. This is where true change begins. Guard the gate, and you will change your life. Break the cycle of helplessness. Inside every person is a story. Maybe you haven't written all the chapters yourself. Maybe the people around you, your family, your teachers, the world itself have picked up the pen and told you who you're supposed to be. They may have told you that fate is unbreakable, that luck is stronger than willpower, and that your spirit must bow down to the pressures and twists of life. These ideas, repeated often enough, can start to feel like fact. But what if, just for a moment, you stop believing those old lines? What if you decided, here and now, that your attitude, not your circumstances, is your true inheritance? This shift in thinking isn't just nice to have, it's urgent. When you let other people or outside events write your story, you start to feel helpless. The more you believe that you have no power, the less you actually use the power you do have. It's like living with the brakes on, never able to go where you want, always waiting for something or someone to rescue you. But here's the truth. The world rarely comes to save those who have already given up. No one gets rewarded for feeling sorry for themselves. The world respects those who, even when beaten down, stand back up. The real victory is not in never failing, but in refusing to let failure decide your attitude. A positive attitude is not some silly belief that nothing will ever go wrong. It's not about wearing a fake smile or ignoring your problems. Real positivity is a kind of rebellion. It's the inner voice that shouts, "Not yet," even when darkness tries to close in. It's the stubborn refusal to let setbacks decide who you are. When you stand strong, even when life is hard, you prove that your spirit is greater than your circumstances. But how do you actually make this change? It starts with awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts and words, especially when things get tough. Notice when you fall into the habit of complaining or blaming. Notice when you're waiting for someone else to fix your problems. These moments are your signal to interrupt the old script. Instead of letting the story keep going as usual, pause and ask yourself a better question. What can I control, even right now? It doesn't matter if the step is small. Maybe all you can do is take a deep breath, stand up straight, or decide to keep going for one more hour. Every act of refusing to give in, every time you push back against the feeling of helplessness, is like laying a brick in the foundation of your own fortress. Over time, these small acts add up. They build a mindset that's difficult to shake, a mindset that sees problems as challenges, not as reasons to quit. Remember, your real strength starts long before you lift a finger or take an action. It begins in the mind. The moment you refuse to bow down to fear, to discouragement, to the voices that tell you to give up, you take back your power. You become the author of your own story, not just a character swept along by the plot. So if you want to change your life, start by changing your attitude. Refuse to let the world or anyone else decide what you will believe about yourself. Let every day be a new page, a chance to write your own script, to build your own strength, and to shape your future from the inside out. Your power begins not with your hands, but with your mind's refusal to kneel. Transform reaction into response. The world is always pushing your button. Sooner or later, someone will say the wrong thing. Your plans will fall apart, or unexpected problems will appear out of nowhere. Life has a way of testing your patience and trying to pull you off balance. There will be people who challenge you, circumstances that seem unfair, and moments that threaten to flood you with anger, sadness, or frustration. But what truly separates the strong from the weak is not how many times they get hurt or how many problems they face. It's how they respond when these challenges arrive. Some people go through life collecting scars and letting every wound turn into bitterness. Others learn to turn every setback, every difficult moment, into a stepping stone. The difference is their attitude. A positive mental attitude is not about ignoring reality or pretending to be happy when things are hard. It's about training your mind to see every trigger not as a reason to explode or collapse, but as a lesson. This attitude is not born overnight. It takes practice, awareness, and a choice made again and again. The world will never stop testing you, but you can learn to meet those tests with strength and clarity. Why is learning this skill so important? Because if you simply react to everything that happens, you give up control of your life. When you react without thinking, yelling back when insulted, quitting when disappointed, sulking when ignored, you become a puppet, pulled in every direction by outside forces. That is slavery to circumstance. But when you pause, even for a single moment, and choose how you will respond, you take back your power. You are no longer ruled by chaos, but by your own values and intentions. Each situation, no matter how difficult, is an opportunity to show who you really are. You can choose to be led by your best qualities, patience, wisdom, kindness, or you can be driven by anger, fear, or pride. The more often you choose the higher path, the stronger and more resilient you become. Your life begins to reflect not the storms around you, but the calm and purpose within you. So, how do you start mastering this art? It begins with the pause. When something sets you off, when you feel your anger boiling, your sadness overwhelming you, or your nerves fraying, stop. Take a deep breath and give yourself a moment. In that moment, ask yourself, what would the strongest, wisest version of myself do right now? Picture yourself as that person. Then, even if you don't feel ready, act as if you are already that strong and wise. This pause creates space between the trigger and your response. In that space, you find your freedom. Instead of just reacting, you become capable of choosing. Maybe you decide to walk away instead of arguing. Maybe you speak with patience instead of anger. Maybe you try to find a solution instead of blaming others. Over time, if you keep practicing this pause, it becomes your new habit. You start to notice that you are less shaken by what happens around you. You feel more confident and in control, not because life is easier, but because you have become stronger. Your life is no longer a series of accidents or emotional storms. It becomes something you build, step by step, with intention and care. In the end, it's not about avoiding hardship. It's about meeting whatever comes with a mind that is steady, clear, and determined to turn every difficulty into growth. That is the real power of a positive mental attitude. Use adversity as your teacher. You will feel the urge to curse the trials that cross your path, the loss that empties your hands, the setback that laughs at your plans, the humiliation that seems to shrink your spirit. Each one arrives like a thief, stealing your peace and shaking your confidence. It is natural to resent these moments, to see them as unfair burdens. But those who look deeper, those who grow wise, come to know this. Adversity is the harsh tutor that forges real character. A positive mental attitude does not mean you greet pain with open arms. It means you learn to recognize pain as a companion, walking beside you on the path to greatness. What is the lesson hidden inside hardship? Pain reveals the cracks in your spirit and demands you strengthen them. Every setback holds a secret, something about yourself or about the world that you would never have learned if life had been easy. The person who only resents difficulty will forever miss its gifts, but the one who greets adversity with a questioning mind and a heart determined to rise will leave every challenge a little stronger than before. You might wonder, why endure this discipline? Why face pain head on when it's so tempting to run or to numb yourself with distraction? The answer is simple, but it is not easy. Nothing shapes you like hardship survived with dignity. The strongest steel is tempered by fire. The mind that learns from pain is a mind that cannot be broken by life's storms. When you choose to see each problem as training, not punishment, you rob suffering of its sting. You become the one who decides what meaning pain will hold, not the other way around. How does this look in practice? When trouble finds you, and it always will, look for the lesson first. Resist the urge to complain or blame. Instead, ask yourself, what can this teach me about endurance, about creativity, about patience? Sometimes the answer is immediate. Sometimes it comes later, when the sting has faded and you can see the event with clearer eyes. Either way, write the answer on your soul. Let each lesson, no matter how small, become a brick in the fortress of your character. Each time you face adversity with a steady mind, you take back a little more power from fate. Instead of shrinking from difficulty, you use it. You train yourself to grow stronger, not in spite of hardship, but because of it. This is the true meaning of a positive mental attitude, not naive cheerfulness, but a steady refusal to let pain define your story. In time, you may even come to look back on your hardest trials with a strange kind of gratitude. You'll realize that every test you survived added something vital to your character. The world may remember your victories, but you will remember your endurance. You will know, deep down, that your mind is unbreakable, not because you never fell, but because you learned to rise again and again. So, when you find yourself tempted to curse the days that hurt, remember this: adversity is the tutor you did not ask for, but desperately need. Meet it with a mind willing to learn and a heart unwilling to quit. Every pain holds a lesson. Gather them. Let them forge you. For in the end, it is not comfort, but struggle that shapes the person you are destined to become. Build unshakable habits. Your intentions, no matter how pure or powerful, are not enough. The world is full of dreams that died in silence, good plans and noble ideas that never found their way into real life. If you look closely, you'll see that most lives are not ruined by a lack of desire, but by a lack of discipline. What shapes your destiny is not what you hope to do, but what you actually do over and over, especially when no one is watching. In the end, your habits are the quiet architects of your fate. The rituals you choose each day, the actions you repeat in the privacy of your own world, are the hands that sculpt your future. Why are habits so important? Because in your weakest moments, you won't suddenly become the person you dream of being. You won't magically rise to meet your highest standards. Instead, you will sink to the level of your training, your routine, your habits. This is why discipline matters more than bursts of motivation. Motivation is a spark. Discipline is the fire that keeps burning long after the world grows cold and inspiration runs dry. The positive attitude you decide to adopt today must become the habit you practice every day until it is as natural as breathing. Building these kinds of habits does not require perfection, only consistency. You do not need to change everything at once. Start with a single act and repeat it relentlessly. If you want to be grateful, say it out loud every morning before you greet the day. If you want to build discipline, promise yourself that you will act with purpose even when you feel tired or tempted by distraction. Let your actions, not your moods, set the pace of your life. Track your progress. Notice the small victories each time you show up, each time you choose the hard thing over the easy excuse. Do not let your failures become a source of shame. Everyone slips, everyone stumbles. The key is to forgive yourself quickly and return to the path without delay. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is not that one group never fails. It is that they refuse to let failure stop them. They come back again and again, each time a little stronger. With time, your habits become more than just tasks. They become your sanctuary. They are the proof that you are not at the mercy of your moods or the unpredictability of life. Your habits become a safe place, a strong foundation that keeps you steady no matter what storms arise. You learn that real freedom is not doing whatever you feel like, but doing what you have chosen, especially when it is hard. In this way, you become each day a little more of who you were meant to be. Your actions shape your character. Your character shapes your future. And your future, brick by brick, is built on the simple routines you create and keep. There is power in this slow becoming. Each morning you rise and do what must be done. You declare to the world and to yourself that you are not ruled by chance or by passing feelings. You are ruled by purpose. So set your intentions, but do not stop there. Let your habits give them life. Repeat the actions that match your dreams until they become part of you. One day, you will look back and realize that you have become the person you once only imagined, not by wishing, but by doing, not by hope alone, but by the quiet, steady work of your own hands. Cut off the poison of comparison. Every single day the world puts on a show of perfection. You see it everywhere in faces that always seem happy, in stories of success shared loudly, in the carefully edited moments of other people's lives. It's easy to feel like everyone else is winning, while you are stuck in the middle, just trying to get through. The temptation is strong to measure yourself against these shadows, to compare your journey with what others choose to show. But you must understand, comparison is a silent thief. It sneaks into your thoughts and drains you of your own peace. If you want to build a truly positive attitude, you have to shut the door on this poison and guard your mind. What do you risk if you let comparison rule you? The answer is simple. You lose your own story. The moment you let someone else's success decide how you feel about yourself, you give up on your own progress and your own growth. Your journey becomes blurry. Your goals start to slip out of reach because you are too busy looking sideways. The mind, once focused and determined, grows bitter. The feeling of gratitude, the sense of being thankful for your life, just as it is, dies quietly, unnoticed, in the darkness. Why spend your precious time chasing the shadow of someone else's story when you have your own to write? So how do you break this curse of comparison? The answer begins with attention. Start by fixing your gaze on your own path. Each morning, take a moment to list what you have done right, no matter how small it seems. Instead of letting your thoughts dwell on what you lack or what you haven't achieved yet, focus on the steps you have taken. Turn your admiration for the success of others into inspiration for yourself. Let it show you what's possible, not what you're missing. Celebrate your small victories. Every goal met, every fear faced, every mistake learned from is a win worth honoring. These victories belong to you. Do not borrow pride from the lives of others, and do not let jealousy steal your own hard-earned joy. When envy creeps in, and it always will, remind yourself of this truth: nobody else can live your life just as you cannot live theirs. The stories you see from a distance are just that, stories. You do not know what struggles they hide, what pain they have endured, or what battles they are fighting. The only real competition is with the person you were yesterday. Each day, aim to grow, to learn, to improve, just a little bit more than before. If you fall short, forgive yourself and try again. If you succeed, acknowledge it and keep building. The journey is yours alone. You are responsible for making it meaningful. It is easy to lose yourself in the noise of other people's victories, but you must not let the world write your script. Choose to value your progress, however slow. Let gratitude light your path, so you do not wander in the darkness of envy and regret. Remember, the worth of your life is not found in comparison, but in the quiet, steady effort of becoming your best self. So close the gates against the poison of comparison. Guard your mind with care. Each day, focus on your growth, your learning, your small wins. The world will always parade its illusions, but you can choose to walk your own path one step, one honest effort at a time. This is the way to a truly positive and peaceful attitude. Speak life into your world. The words you use each day are seeds, quietly shaping the landscape of your life. Every sentence is a choice. Will you plant weeds of doubt or flowers of hope and strength? Most people don't pay attention to what comes out of their mouths. They speak without thinking, complaining about their luck, making jokes at their own expense, or predicting failure before even trying. They repeat the world's negativity as if it were the only language they knew. But those who want to build real strength, who want to rise above the crowd, understand the true power of language. Words can heal or harm, encourage or destroy, build up or tear down. Why does this matter so much? Because the way you speak does more than fill the silence. It shapes your thinking and, over time, the way you live. Negative words breed a negative mind. If you're always saying you can't, that life is unfair, or that things never work out for you, those words become your reality. Your mind listens to your mouth, and it believes what it hears. On the other hand, when you choose words that show gratitude, hope, and intention, you begin to shape your own destiny. Disciplined speech leads to disciplined action. You might not realize it, but your daily vocabulary is either handing your power away or helping you claim it. If you let old habits rule your speech, echoing sarcasm, self-doubt, and complaints, you surrender control over your mindset. Why do that when you could become the author of your own life story? Why let careless words decide the outcome of your day? So, how do you use this power wisely? Start by paying close attention to your own voice. Listen carefully to the words you say out loud and the silent scripts running in your head. Notice when you put yourself down, speak carelessly, or repeat negative beliefs. Catch those moments as soon as they appear. Don't let them slip by unnoticed. Instead, make a habit of replacing them on purpose. If you catch yourself complaining about your problems, switch to words of gratitude for the things that are going right. If you notice sarcasm or self-doubt creeping in, counter it with statements of your intention and strength. Say, "I can handle this," or "I'm learning and getting stronger every day." Speak to yourself with the same encouragement and care you would offer to a close friend or someone you love, because, in the end, you are responsible for the world your words create. This is not just about talking nicely. It's about building a mental fortress, brick by brick, sentence by sentence. Every time you choose disciplined, positive words, you reinforce the walls of this fortress. Over time, negativity finds it harder to get in. Your mind becomes a safer, stronger place to live. Remember, the world is full of careless speech. You hear it on the street, on the news, even in your own home. But you don't have to let those words shape your reality. You get to choose what you plant each day, flowers or weeds, hope or despair. With practice, your words will begin to change your thoughts will shape your actions, and your actions will create a life that reflects the best of who you are. So choose your words with care. Let each sentence you speak be a brick in the fortress of your mind, strong enough to stand against any storm. This is how you claim your power, one word at a time. Practice voluntary discomfort. Comfort has a way of sneaking up on you. It promises rest and safety, but quietly it dulls your instincts and drains your ambition. The longer you settle for what's easy, the more your edge begins to fade. The world constantly offers shortcuts and soft places to land, hoping you'll take the simplest route. But if you want to build real greatness, you must walk the harder road on purpose. Every time you choose voluntary discomfort, getting up before the sun, training your body when you'd rather sleep, Holding your tongue when it would be easier to argue, you shape yourself into someone who cannot be broken by life's test. Why should you pick the difficult path when comfort is always available? The answer is simple but powerful. True freedom is never handed to you. It must be earned. Those who refuse all pain become trapped by fear. They avoid discomfort so much that even the smallest challenge feels impossible. On the other hand, those who make a habit of seeking out what is hard, who push themselves daily, grow stronger with every challenge. Over time, what once seemed impossible becomes normal. You do not grow by escaping suffering, but by meeting it head on, by deciding for yourself when and how you will face it. How can you master this principle in your own life? Start small. Each day, choose one thing that makes you uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be extreme. Skip your usual snack for a morning. Walk instead of taking the car or bus, or spend a few minutes in silence when everyone around you is making noise. Try to sit with your thoughts instead of reaching for a distraction. These small acts of discomfort build mental muscle. They remind you that you can handle more than you think. Over time, you will notice a change. Discomfort becomes less frightening and more familiar. The challenges life throws at you start to feel smaller because you have built the strength to carry your own burdens. You're no longer surprised or overwhelmed by sudden hardship. Instead, you meet each test with calm because you have faced yourself first. You have practiced resilience in the small things, so you are ready for the big ones. There is a deep truth here. Comfort is not your friend if you want to grow. It will keep you safe, but it will also keep you stuck. Each act of voluntary discomfort is like a brick in the foundation of your inner strength. The more you practice, the more your confidence grows. You begin to trust yourself, knowing that you have already survived what others avoid. You become more than just a survivor. You become someone who thrives under pressure. This is not about punishing yourself or seeking out pain for no reason. It's about understanding that growth only comes through challenge. The muscle that is never worked will never become strong. The mind that is never tested will never become wise. When you choose discomfort on your own terms, you become the master of your life, not a victim of circumstance. In the end, the world's hardships will seem lighter, not because life has gotten easier, but because you have become tougher. This is the secret to real strength, the beginning of true resilience. Let discomfort teach you what comfort never can, that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. Each day, seek out the hard thing. Welcome challenge as the doorway to your best self. Let go of the uncontrollable. You spend so much of your life tangled in battles you can never win, caught up in the web of what other people think of you, angry at the weather, frustrated with the twists of fate that are far beyond your reach. The mind, when left on its own, latches on to these things, chewing over every detail, unable to let go. The result is always the same. You grow tired, anxious, and restless, feeling powerless against a world you can't command. Yet, true serenity begins the moment you learn to let go of this illusion of control. What wisdom can be found here? It is this: your energy, like your time, is limited. You have only so many hours in a day, only so much strength in your spirit. Every minute you spend worrying about what you cannot change is a minute stolen away from things you can do, actions that would bring you clarity, peace, or real progress. Why should you offer up your sense of peace as a sacrifice to the chaos of life? The world will spin as it wishes, no matter how much you fret or plead. To try and control everything is to drain yourself dry, leaving nothing left for what actually matters. So how do you put this lesson into practice? Start by noticing when your mind gets trapped in worry. When anxiety rises, don't just let it run wild. Stop and ask yourself, what is really within my control right now? Make it a habit to pause and sort out your concerns. Write them down if you must. Make 2 lists, one for the things you can influence your actions, your choices, your responses, and another for the things you cannot. Then make a clear decision to put down the worries that don't belong to you. Picture yourself carrying a heavy bag, one you've held for far too long. With every worry about things you can't control, the bag gets heavier. But when you finally set it down, when you accept that you are not responsible for the weather, for other people's feelings, or for fate itself, you feel a wave of relief. This is the first taste of freedom. Each day, make it your practice to return your attention to the small but powerful circle of control that belongs to you. In that circle are your words, your choices, your habits, your attitude. Here is where you can act, where you can grow, where you can build a life worth living. Everything outside that circle must be let go, like sand slipping through your fingers. It won't happen overnight. The habit of worry is strong, and the world constantly invites you to pick up burdens that don't belong to you. But the more you practice, the lighter you will feel. You will find yourself calmer, more present, and more focused on what you can actually change. In that narrow circle, you will discover your true power. You will learn to invest your energy where it counts, to act with intention, and to let the rest be what it will be. There is a quiet strength in this way of living. You stop wasting your life trying to fix the unfixable, and you start living with purpose and clarity. You become a person of action, not of endless worry. The world may remain wild and unpredictable, but within your own circle, you are steady. And beyond that circle, you are finally free. Surround yourself with purpose. You do not build strength or wisdom by standing alone. Every person you allow into your life leaves a mark, shaping your mind and spirit in ways you may not even notice at first. The people you choose to surround yourself with, friends, mentors, even passing acquaintances, become powerful influences, pulling you up or dragging you down. Too many people drift through life, letting their circles form by accident. They spend time with those who encourage their weaknesses, fuel their bad habits, or keep them stuck in the same old patterns. If you want to live with a positive mental attitude, you must become deliberate, almost ruthless about who you allow close. Why does this matter so much? Because relationships, like habits, are contagious. Spend enough time around anxious people, and you'll soon find their worries becoming your own. Keep company with those who constantly doubt themselves, and their doubts will start to cloud your own vision. The attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors of your environment shape your mind whether you realize it or not. If you don't choose your relationships on purpose, you will end up absorbing the negativity, distractions, and small-minded thinking of others. You become a reflection of your surroundings, for better or for worse. The risk is clear. Without purpose in your relationships, you give up control over your own attitude and future. Your goals become fuzzy. Your confidence gets chipped away by the fears and limitations of those around you. Why let your dreams be clouded by someone else's anxieties? Why let another person's doubt take root in your heart? How can you protect yourself and choose wisely? It starts with honesty. Look at the people in your life and ask yourself, do they encourage your growth or hold you back? Do they challenge your excuses, or do they make it easier to stay the same? True friends and valuable mentors are not always the most comfortable company. They are the ones who demand your best, who call out your potential, and who walk toward difficulty instead of running from it. Seek out those who inspire you to rise above your old limits. Spend time with people who are brave enough to face their own struggles and push through them. Surround yourself with those who live with intention and integrity, who expect you to do the same. Let their example pull you upward. At the same time, limit your contact with those who drain your energy, feed your doubts, or poison your outlook. This doesn't mean you have to cut everyone out of your life, but you should be careful about who gets your time and attention. Sometimes, You may find that solitude is better than company that holds you back. Being alone, with purpose, gives you space to grow, to reflect, and to build your own character. Never fear purposeful solitude. It is far better to walk your path alone than to be surrounded by those who steer you away from it. Remember, your inner circle is not built by chance. It is built by intention. Every relationship should add strength, clarity, and encouragement to your journey. If it doesn't, it's time to step back and reconsider. Building your circle wisely will not only protect your positive mental attitude, but it will also help you become the person you're meant to be. You will find yourself growing stronger every day, supported and sharpened by those who walk beside you. In the end, the quality of your company will define the quality of your life. Choose boldly. Turn setbacks into fuel. You will stumble along the way. You will make mistakes, fall short of your own expectations, and sometimes even face defeat in front of others. But these moments are not proof of weakness. They are invitations to rise higher. Everyone faces failure. What sets people apart is not whether they fall, but what they do afterward. Too many let failure become a permanent wound. They wear it like a badge, repeating the story of their disappointment until it becomes an excuse to give up. If you want to build true strength, you must learn to see every setback as fresh fuel for your ascent. What does this mean in real life? The world will not pause to hear your excuses. It does not care how many times you've fallen or what obstacles you have faced. But here's the hidden advantage. You don't need anyone's permission or approval to get back up and try again. Each time you fail, you receive a hard but honest message about your limits, your skills, and your determination. You see exactly where you need to improve. This is not something to fear or avoid. Instead, ask yourself, why hold on to disappointment when you could use it to grow? Why let a single fall become a lifelong story when it could instead become the spark that propels you forward? Turning pain into progress requires courage and honesty. Start by facing your failures head on. Don't cover them up or pretend they don't matter. Look at them closely, the way a surgeon examines a wound without emotion, but with total attention. Break down what happened. Where did you misstep? What could you have done differently? What lessons are hidden in the pain? Only by analyzing your failures can you uncover the wisdom they hold. But don't stop at understanding. Use what you learn. Decide, in both word and action, to rise again, this time with greater discipline and focus. Let every scar remind you not of the fall, but of the lesson it offered. Make your scars a map, marking where you have been and pointing to where you can go next. Don't let them become a prison that keeps you from moving forward. Every successful person has a history of setbacks. The difference is, they did not let those moments define them. They used failure as a stepping stone, each one bringing them closer to who they wanted to become. When you face setbacks, remember, your response determines your future, not the setback itself. If you learn from your mistakes and use them as motivation, you become nearly unstoppable. So, the next time you fall, don't hide or sulk or look for someone to blame. Instead, stand back up. Ask yourself the hard questions. Take responsibility, and then put your new understanding into action. This process is not always comfortable, but it is always worth it. Over time, you will notice a change. Failure will stop being something you fear and start being something you can use. You will welcome each new challenge, knowing that even if you fall, you will rise stronger, smarter, and more prepared. Your scars will no longer be marks of shame, but badges of courage and growth. In the end, the strongest people are not those who never fail, but those who never let failure stop them. Each setback is just another step on the path upward. Use your pain as fuel, your scars as maps, and you will discover that you are truly unstoppable. Command your emotional weather. Emotions are like storms that sweep across the mind, sometimes gentle, sometimes fierce. Even the strongest person can find themselves shaken by anger, anxiety, or jealousy. These feelings can roll in without warning, clouding your vision and twisting the path you thought was clear. But you are not just a passenger on this journey, helpless against the wind and rain. With a positive mental attitude, you can learn to command your inner weather. You can choose, even in chaos, to steer with a steady hand and a clear sense of direction. What happens if you fail to master your emotions? The cost is higher than you might think. When your emotions are in control, reason disappears. You may say things you never meant to say, act in ways that betray your values, or damage relationships you hold dear. The smallest problem can seem like a disaster, and simple challenges become impossible mountains. Why live your life at the mercy of passing moods, when you could anchor yourself in calm and principle? A life ruled by emotion is a life filled with regret and confusion, but a life guided by steady purpose stands firm, even when the world seems to spin out of control. So how do you practice this emotional mastery? The first step is awareness. Instead of running from your emotions or pretending they don't exist, notice them as they arise. Don't judge yourself for feeling angry or anxious. Just name the feeling. Say to yourself, "This is anger," or "I feel jealousy right now." By naming your emotions, you create a small space between what you feel and how you respond. Once you've named the emotion, step back and become an observer. Imagine you are watching a storm from behind a window, not standing outside in the middle of it. Breathe deeply. Let the first wave of feeling wash over you, and then let it pass. Remind yourself that emotions, like storms, always move on. They are powerful, but they are not permanent. You do not have to react right away. After the wave has passed, ask yourself a simple but powerful question. What does my best self require in this moment? Not the most comfortable choice, not the easiest path, but the action your highest self would take. Sometimes it means staying silent when you want to shout. Sometimes it means offering patience when you feel rushed or wronged. Sometimes it means walking away to gather your thoughts before you respond. Over time, practicing this process builds an inner discipline that becomes second nature. Calm becomes your shield, protecting you from rash decisions and regretful words. You learn to trust yourself, knowing that you can handle whatever emotions come your way. Your mind grows stronger with each test, and the storms that once battered you become smaller, less frightening. Others may look at your steady composure and wonder how you remain so calm when the world is in chaos. They may see only the surface, not realizing the work and discipline that made your calm possible. But you will know the truth. Your peace is hard won. It is the product of daily effort, of choosing again and again to anchor yourself in principle rather than drift on the waves of emotion. In the end, you are not meant to be a victim of your feelings. With practice, you become the captain of your own ship. No matter how fierce the emotional storms, you sail forward with purpose and strength. That is the gift of a positive mental attitude, and it is a mastery worth fighting for. Refuse the lure of instant gratification. Every moment of your life, you are standing at a crossroads. One road is lined with easy pleasures, the comfort of distraction, the warmth of quick rewards, the promise of immediate satisfaction. The world around you is built to profit from your impatience. Advertisements, even casual conversations, all push you toward what feels good now, not what serves you in the long run. But the person who builds a positive mental attitude learns to spot these traps. They understand that true growth is not a sudden spark, but a slow, steady flame, burning brighter with every patient choice. Every time you compromise, you chip away at your own willpower. You become a servant to your passing desires, trading away your potential for the comfort of the moment. Slowly, you find that your dreams have faded, replaced by habits that give nothing back. Why would you choose to build your life on shifting sand when you could lay foundations that last? If you want to escape this cycle, you must learn to pause and reflect. Each time you feel the urge to escape, to choose the shortcut, or to settle for something less, stop and ask yourself a simple question. What will this cost me in the long run? It is not always easy to answer honestly. The cost is often hidden, showing up months or even years later as lost opportunities, wasted time, or dreams that never quite came true. The way out begins with redirection. Instead of chasing what feels good right now, focus your energy on something meaningful, a habit that will build you up, a skill you want to master, a calling that gives you purpose. Every time you turn away from quick comfort and choose discipline, you strengthen your will. You make it easier to choose the right path next time. Slowly, your life becomes a reflection of your highest values, not your lowest impulses. There is a quiet strength in choosing the fulfilling over the fleeting. At first, it can feel like a sacrifice. You give up a moment of pleasure for a future reward that isn't guaranteed. But over time, you see the results stacking up. The person who practices a musical instrument every day finds joy in mastery. The person who wakes early to exercise, rather than sleeping in, discovers pride in their progress. These victories may seem small in the moment, but they are the building blocks of greatness. Remember, mastery is never found in what you do once. It's not the grand gesture or the single act of willpower that changes your life. It is the choice you make again and again, even when no one is watching. The road of growth is built on daily decisions, choosing what is meaningful over what is easy, refusing to trade the future for the fleeting promise of now. So, the next time you find yourself pulled toward a quick fix or an easy way out, pause. Consider the cost. Choose the slow burn of growth over the spark of indulgence. Build your life on a foundation that will stand the test of time. Over the years, you'll see that each patient decision was a stone laid in the path to your own greatness. Practice relentless self-honesty. The greatest deception you will ever face is self-deception. It is easier than you think to lie to yourself about your real motives, your weaknesses, and the part you play in your own struggles. Most people convince themselves that the problem is always somewhere else. The world, their past, the unfairness of life. But only those who are willing to use brutal honesty as a weapon can ever hope to truly master themselves. Your attitude toward the truth, especially the truth about yourself, sets the ceiling for how far you will rise in life. What is the real danger of denial? At first, lies feel like a soft pillow. They comfort you, making reality seem less painful and more manageable. But over time, those lies start to rot you from the inside out. When you refuse to face your flaws, you become powerless to fix them. You end up stuck, repeating the same mistakes, blaming the same people, and never moving forward. Why choose to stay blind to your shortcomings when the truth, though often uncomfortable, is the only path to real progress? Living by this principle takes courage and discipline. It starts by making time for honest self-reflection. Regularly ask yourself the hard questions. Not just about what you do, but about why you do it. Are you truly giving your best, or just making excuses? Are you acting out of fear or pride, or out of genuine purpose? Where have you fallen short, and where have you hidden from the truth? This is not about beating yourself up. It's about seeing things clearly so you can change them. When you find fault in yourself, admit it quickly and without drama. Don't defend your mistakes or try to cover them up. First, be honest with yourself. Write it down. Say it out loud, whatever it takes. If your actions have hurt someone else, admit it to them as well and take responsibility. This is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it's the mark of true strength and maturity. At the same time, celebrate your progress. Notice where you are improving and let that be fuel to keep going. But never pretend to be perfect or put on a mask to impress others. The exhausting labor of pretending, of keeping up appearances, of hiding your flaws only weighs you down. Real freedom comes from dropping the act and facing yourself honestly, faults and all. Over time, self-honesty becomes a source of liberation, not punishment. You will start to feel lighter, more confident, and more in control of your own life. The pressure to appear perfect will fade, replaced by a quiet pride in your real, ongoing progress. You will find that the truth, though sometimes painful, always brings growth, and growth is what turns ordinary people into extraordinary ones. Remember, no one ever changed by ignoring their flaws. You cannot fix what you refuse to face, so set aside time every week, every day, if needed, to look honestly at your actions and motives. Admit your mistakes quickly, forgive yourself, and use the lesson to get better. Celebrate your victories, but stay humble. The journey to your best self begins with a single act of courage, telling yourself the truth. In the end, your relationship with the truth decides your fate. Be ruthless in your honesty, but gentle with your heart. This is the only way to build a life on solid ground, free from the weight of self-deception and open to the highest forms of success and fulfillment. Make discipline your closest ally. Discipline is the silent engine that drives every lasting achievement. It doesn't call attention to itself, but it powers every great success story, every hard-won victory, and every dream that survives the test of time. Without discipline, even the brightest passion fades away, the best plans fall apart, and the mind becomes lost in a maze of distractions. A positive mental attitude is not just a feeling that comes and goes, it is a serious commitment. It is the promise you make to yourself every single day to do what needs to be done, no matter how you feel in the moment. The disciplined mind does not sit around waiting for motivation to appear. Instead, it manufactures motivation by taking action, again and again, until progress becomes a habit. What's the real reward for building discipline into your life? It's more powerful than you might think. When you live each day with intention, your ability to succeed grows stronger. Small victories like waking up on time, finishing your tasks, or sticking to your word begin to build up layer by layer until you are nearly unbreakable. This strength is not born overnight. It is the result of repeated effort, of showing up even when you don't feel like it, and of refusing to settle for less than your best. Why put your faith in short bursts of inspiration when the steady path of discipline will take you further and with greater certainty? So how do you tie discipline to your life in a real, lasting way? Start by setting clear standards for yourself, standards that are not open to negotiation. Know what you expect of yourself each day, and hold yourself to it, no matter what happens. Build routines that support your goals. This might mean creating a morning ritual to start your day with focus, or planning your evenings to make time for rest and reflection. Routines turn discipline from something difficult into something automatic. Inevitably, you will stumble. Everyone does. The key is not to let a single failure become a reason to quit. Do not argue with yourself about whether to start again. Do not make excuses or let disappointment linger. The moment you slip, return to your routine at once. The disciplined mind forgives mistakes, but it does not allow them to multiply. Celebrate your consistency above all else. Many people chase intensity. They push themselves hard for a day or a week, but then burn out and give up. True discipline is different. It is about showing up day after day with steady effort. It is about valuing the process, not just the results. Over time, this approach creates a foundation that cannot be shaken by mood, distraction, or setback. As the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, you will find something surprising. Discipline is a form of freedom. When your actions are guided by principle and routine, you are no longer at the mercy of chaos or chance. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment or the right feeling. You create the conditions for your own success, and you trust yourself to follow through. In the end, the disciplined life is the only life truly immune to chaos. It is a life where progress is not a matter of luck, but of choice. Every day, you move closer to your goals, not by accident, but by design. Discipline is the quiet force that turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Make it your engine, and let it drive you toward your greatest victories. Find strength in solitude. Most people are afraid of being alone. They fill every quiet moment with noise, turning on music, or surrounding themselves with people because the silence feels uncomfortable. The empty space becomes something to avoid, not something to embrace. But solitude is not your enemy. In fact, it is one of your greatest allies. Solitude is the forge where your clarity and inner strength are shaped. The person who learns to stand alone can stand unshaken before anything the world throws their way. What makes solitude so valuable? In silence, there is nowhere to hide. You are left face to face with your real self, your true desires, your hidden fears, your honest thoughts. There are no distractions to cover up what you feel or believe. Only in these quiet moments do you hear the voice of your own conscience. Only here can you truly reckon with what matters most to you. While the world may push you to seek approval or companionship, remember, the deepest wisdom often rises from moments of solitude. When you are alone, you are free from the pressures of others' opinions. You can finally listen to the guidance that lives within you. So how do you make solitude a part of your life? It starts by making room for it. Even if just a few minutes at a time, choose to spend moments alone, without reaching for a device or looking for an escape. Go for a walk by yourself, reflect quietly in a room, write in a journal, or simply sit in stillness. Don't fight the discomfort that may come. At first, face it directly, without flinching or distraction. This is where the real work begins. As you practice being alone, something powerful starts to happen. You get used to your own company. You start to understand yourself on a deeper level. Strength accumulates in these small, silent moments, strength that is quiet but incredibly profound. You begin to see your thoughts and feelings with more clarity. Problems that once felt overwhelming become more manageable when viewed in the calm of solitude. Your goals come into sharper focus, and you can make decisions based on what truly matters to you, not just what others expect. In time, you become your own companion, your own advisor. You learn to trust yourself, to lean on your own wisdom, and to enjoy your own presence. The approval of others starts to matter less because you have found confidence within. You don't need to chase distractions or validation from outside sources. You are enough just as you are. It may not be easy at first. Silence can feel awkward, and being alone may bring up feelings you'd rather avoid. But every time you return to solitude, you make those moments easier. You grow stronger and more comfortable in your own skin. You find a source of power and clarity that cannot be shaken by the noise or demands of the outside world. So, don't run from being alone. Seek it out. Treat solitude as a practice, a time to build the foundations of your strength. In those moments, listen deeply to yourself. Allow your true desires, fears, and hopes to surface. Face them honestly, and use what you learn to guide your life forward. In the solitude you once avoided, you will discover the true roots of your power and wisdom. When you learn to stand alone, you can face anything. Let purpose drive every decision. Your days are not limitless. They are the true currency of your life. Every morning you wake, you are given a handful of hours to invest as you choose. Yet most people spend them thoughtlessly, chasing distractions, caught up in small worries, or drifting wherever their impulses take them. It's easy to let days slip by without direction, believing there will always be more. But each day is unique. Once spent, it never returns. A positive mental attitude is more than just protection from life's struggles. It's a compass pointing you toward a sense of purpose that makes every sacrifice and every effort meaningful. What happens if you live without purpose? The answer is simple but sobering. You drift. When you have no clear direction, you become a spectator in your own life, reacting to whatever comes rather than choosing your path. Time slips away, and regret quietly fills the space left behind. One day, you may look back and realize you lived most of your life by accident, not intention. Why hand over your most precious resource, your time, to randomness and chance, when you could use it to build something that lasts far beyond your own days? To avoid this trap, you must let purpose become your guide. Start by clarifying what truly matters to you. Take the time to write it down. What values, dreams, and goals are worth your best effort? What do you want your life to stand for? This act alone can change everything. Once you have your purpose in words, make it a daily ritual to read it each morning. Remind yourself, before the day gets busy, of what matters most. With purpose as your compass, decisions become clearer. When you face a choice how to spend your time, where to invest your energy, whom to trust with your attention, pause and ask yourself, does this serve my purpose, or does it steal from it? This single question can protect you from countless distractions and regrets. It gives you the power to say no to the things that do not matter and to say yes fully and boldly to the things that do. Let your purpose do the hard work of pruning away what is unnecessary. When you know what you stand for, you can let go of the fleeting trends, the shallow temptations, and the noise that fills so many lives. Your days will not be cluttered with trivial tasks or wasted on things that do not matter. Instead, every action, every choice becomes a brick in the foundation of your legacy. You begin to live as if every hour counts, because it does. Purpose transforms ordinary life into something extraordinary. It gives weight to your struggles and joy to your victories. It reminds you that every effort has meaning when it is directed toward a greater goal. Over time, you will see your days stacking up into something lasting, a story worth telling, a life that matters. So, do not drift. Do not surrender your hours to randomness or to the priorities of others. Let purpose be the North Star that guides your every action. Write it down. Read it daily. Test every choice against it. Let it strip away what is unimportant and focus your life on what is essential. In the end, you will have built not just a life, but a legacy, one intentional day at a time. Welcome criticism as a gift. Criticism is never easy to swallow, especially when your pride is tender. Most people react by putting up walls, defending themselves with excuses or anger, desperate to hold on to the feeling that they are already perfect. But this instinct to shield yourself from criticism is a trap. It keeps you stuck, blind to your flaws and deaf to the wisdom that could make you stronger. The person who chooses to welcome honest feedback, even when it hurts, forges themselves in fire. Each tough word, each piece of hard truth becomes a tool to sharpen their skills, their judgment, and their spirit. What do you risk by rejecting criticism? The answer is simple. You remain trapped in your blind spots. Without feedback, you repeat the same mistakes, never seeing the gaps in your knowledge or character. You mistake the comfort of avoiding hard truths for real progress, but in truth, you're only standing still. Why choose the comfort of ignorance over the discomfort of growth? Every honest critique, no matter how painful, is a chance to rise above your current limits. So, how do you turn criticism into a source of strength? The first step is to listen before you defend yourself. When someone points out a weakness or an error, pause and let their words land. Don't rush to explain or argue. Instead, search for the truth in what they're saying, even if their message is delivered poorly or wrapped in harshness. Every criticism is an opportunity to learn, if you are brave enough to seek the lesson inside it. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Sometimes the lesson is obvious, a clear mistake to fix or a new skill to develop. Other times, the feedback is less direct, but still valuable. Maybe it reveals a pattern in your behavior, a blind spot you've never noticed, or a way you can communicate better with others. Be grateful for every correction, even when it bruises your ego. The people who are willing to tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, are often doing you the greatest service. Make it a habit to thank those who offer honest feedback, whether you agree with them or not. Their willingness to speak up is a gift. Use their insights to refine your craft, improve your actions, and strengthen your mindset. Don't let your pride rob you of progress. Remember, growth requires discomfort. The more you practice accepting criticism, the less fragile you become. Over time, you will notice that your skin grows thicker, your mind sharper, and your heart more open to learning. In the long run, criticism becomes not just something you tolerate, but something you welcome. You see it as the fire that tempers you, making you less breakable, more resilient, and better equipped to face the challenges ahead. Others may continue to hide from feedback, clinging to the illusion of perfection, but you will move forward, fueled by the truth rather than held back by opinion. So, the next time criticism comes your way, resist the urge to hide or argue. Open yourself to the lesson, thank the messenger, and use what you learn to build a better version of yourself. In this way, you become formidable not by denying your flaws, but by conquering them, one honest critique at a time. Let criticism forge you, and you will find strength where others find only pain. Cultivate endurance over intensity. The world loves to celebrate intensity. We admire the dramatic push, the sudden surge of energy, the impressive grand gesture. We look up to the person who works through the night or gives everything for a quick win. But the truth is, real transformation rarely happens in a blaze of glory. True change is slow, steady, and mostly invisible. It is not fueled by wild bursts of effort, but by the quiet, daily decision to keep going. A positive mental attitude is not about chasing excitement, but about the calm, silent refusal to give up, even when no one is watching. What happens if you rely only on intensity? You burn bright, but you quickly burn out. The thrill of a new goal pushes you to sprint at first, but soon your energy runs dry. You leave projects half finished, dreams half built, and your hope fades just as fast as your motivation. The world is full of stories that start strong and end unfinished. Why chase the fireworks' momentary blaze when a steady flame can bring light and warmth for a lifetime? The real secret to achievement is endurance. It is about setting your sights on the long road, not the quick fix. Instead of looking for dramatic changes overnight, you break your biggest goals into simple, daily actions. You don't measure your progress by how fast you move, but by how reliably you show up. Each day, you add a small piece to the puzzle. Over time, the pieces come together, and something extraordinary takes shape, not by accident, but by choice. Building endurance starts with patience. Set long horizons for yourself. Think about what you want to accomplish in a year or 5 years, not just in a day. Then, make a plan that lets you move forward in small, manageable steps. Celebrate each step, no matter how tiny it seems. Consistency is your greatest weapon. Even when your enthusiasm fades, show up anyway. Keep doing the work, even when you don't feel inspired. You will face days when you want to quit, when everything feels pointless, or when progress is so slow that you wonder if you're moving at all. In those moments, remember, every great monument was built by countless hands, laying stones one by one, day after day, often in silence. The most powerful results in life come from persistent effort, not short-lived intensity. Endurance is what separates the dreamers from the builders, the starters from the finishers. It is a quiet kind of strength, one that grows deeper the longer you practice it. When others fade away, you remain. When distractions call, you hold steady. In this way, you discover the true depth of your will and the real strength of your character. The world may be quick to notice flashes of intensity, but it is endurance that wins respect in the end. The slow, steady flame does not dazzle, but it endures through every storm. It gives you the power to see things through, to finish what you start, and to build a life that lasts. So, set your eyes on the horizon, break your dreams into daily actions, and show up no matter what. Measure yourself not by speed, but by your ability to keep moving forward. Let endurance be your silent engine. The world may not always notice at first, but in the end, it always bows to those who endure. Live each day as if it shapes eternity. Today is not a practice run. This day is as real as it gets. Each morning gives you the chance to start fresh, to take what might seem like ordinary hours and turn them into building blocks for something extraordinary. Yet, most people will let this day pass by, wasting time as if they have an endless supply. They wait for a perfect moment, a sign that everything will work out, or another chance that may never come. But you understand the truth. Now a positive mental attitude changes your life from the very first day you choose it, because every day is a new beginning. What does this demand from you? It asks for a serious commitment to your own life. It calls for the kind of courage that gets out of bed, again and again, even when things are hard or uncertain. It is about keeping your eyes on the person you want to become, no matter how far away that goal may seem. Why put off your dreams or hand over your day to fear or doubt when the only time you really control is this very moment? Living this truth is simple, but not always easy. Start every morning by making a promise to yourself. Before the world's noise rushes in, stand guard at the entrance to your own mind. Choose the thoughts that will help you grow. Choose the words you speak, knowing they have the power to shape your reality. Be mindful of the company you keep, because those around you will either build you up or pull you down. Above all, remember your purpose. Let it guide you through every choice, big or small. Let your attitude be the architect of your future. Each decision you make is like laying a brick in the foundation of your life. Every small act of discipline, waking up early, keeping your word, pushing through discomfort strengthens that foundation. Each time you push back against despair or defeat, you build the life you were meant to live, one choice at a time. Act as if your actions echo far beyond this moment, because they do. Your choices today ripple out into the rest of your life, shaping not just your future, but the lives of those around you. When you choose courage, discipline, and hope, you inspire others to do the same. When you live with intention, you teach others the value of a single day. This is the hidden power of a positive mental attitude. It turns every day, no matter how ordinary, into an opportunity for greatness. So do not wait for tomorrow or for a sign that may never come. Begin today with what you have, where you are. Make each morning a fresh start, a moment to recommit to your purpose and your growth. Stand tall at the gate of your mind, letting in only what serves your highest self. Speak with intention, act with purpose, and choose your company wisely. Every day you do this, you become the author of your own story. Remember, the life you build is not the result of one grand gesture, but the sum of thousands of small, daily choices. Your legacy is written in the ordinary hours that others throw away. Let today count. Begin now, and let every day that follows be day one on your path to greatness.